The easternmost attraction on the Rainbow Coast is Stonehenge. Built to align with the solstices in Esperance, as the original in Britain does in Salisbury Plain. A great view for those who visited the ancient one. Albany, on the east, shows massive granite outcrops, sheer cliffs, and its famous rocky bridge. On the extreme west is the historic Cape Leeuwin Lighthouse, where the Southern and Indian Oceans meet. Some kilometers north is the capital, Perth. His botanical gardens display a spring carnival of flowers. On the Coral Coast, 3 hours north of Perth, the Pinnacles Desert. Over time, coastal winds removed the surrounding sand around deposits of seashells, leaving the pillars exposed to the elements. Stromatolites similar to this relics, cyanobacteria, pumped oxygen to the atmosphere for 2 billion years, allowing complex multicellular life to start. 500 billion years later found us on the planet. Another consequence of the stromatolites oxygenating the sea are the rich iron oxide deposits in the Pilbara, now as mountains, clearly visible in the Karin National Park layers in its gorgeous walls. The spring wildflowers fields are a must, covering hundreds of kilometers, easily spotted from the highway. Lonely pristine beaches all along. The scenery changes when we arrive to the Kalbarri coast, very well known for the limestone cliffs. A bit north and we arrive to the Kimberleys, the famous Cable Beach Sunset Camel Walk. The dinosaur footprints left on the ancient muddy area, reachable by hovercraft. Still north is Derby, populated by baobab trees. They are everywhere. The sunsets of Western Australia followed us till Kununurra, the last town leaving the state to the Northern Territory. We begin our journey on the top north, Kakadu, the biggest national park in Australia. Rocky escarpments, billabongs and tropical fauna define this ancient land. It has more than 5,000 Aboriginal rock art sites. The Bininjmungai people have called Kakadu home for 65,000 years. A 150 kilometers south is the town of Katherine, the land of the Jawoyn culture. It was built on the Katherine River. The splendid gorges form the Nitmiluk National Park. A cruiser down on the dry season shows the tall cliffs with the changing colors of the walls. Simply breathtaking. 1,200 kilometers south and 400 west is Uluru, at Australia's Red Centre. Uluru is a sacred site to the Ainangu tribes of Central Australia, the indigenous peoples of the Western Desert. Uluru is actually part of a huge predominantly underground rock formation that also includes Kata Tjuta. The site has a history of more than 600 million years. Uluru extends further below ground more than above. Part on the Ainangu legend about this sacred land.
The world was once a featureless place. None of the places we know existed until creator beings, in the forms of people, plants and animals, travel widely across the land. Then, in a process of creation and destruction, they formed the landscape as we know it today. Anang land is still inhabited by the spirits of dozens of these ancestral creator beings.
The marvels of this area are the breakaways. Colourful low hills which from a distance seem to have broken away from the Suart Range. Hence their name, the breakaways. When watching this alien landscape, we sense the inland sea that millions of years back covered the place. The colour of the minerals deposited on it, and further erosion, after the sea retired, produced this fantastic moonscape plain, used as a stage for many films. On the Eyre Peninsula we find the Murphy's haystacks. Weathered granite outcrop made of a pink, massive, coarsely rock. Most of the pillars emerge without a break from the underlying granite base. A paradise for photographers of sunset. Kangaroo Island, the third in size in Australia, is located 15 kilometres from mainland. There are two extraordinary attractions there. First, the remarkable rocks. They are eroded granite rocks over a plateau of granite itself facing the South Seas. Storms, rain and wind has eroded them during the last 500 million years to produce such remarkable shapes. The stunning views of the Australian sea lion colony at Seal Bay are a must. It is possible to walk among the third largest colony of Australia's sea lions, feeding the pups and just relaxing, not being harassed by males, as it is not the mating season. It just reminded me the Galapagos Islands. The Great Ocean Road is located on the southwest of the state of Victoria, between the towns of Torquay and Warrnambool, halfway from Melbourne to Adelaide. The centre of attention is the 12 Apostles, a collection of Miocene limestone rock stacks jutting from the water in Port Campbell National Park. Wild and powerful waves of the Southern Ocean constantly pound the coastline, which has shaped the area into what you see today. Sunrise and sunset offer particularly impressive views, as the 12 Apostles change colour from dark and foreboding in shadow to brilliant sandy yellow under a full sun. The 12 Apostles is at the centre of one of the most spectacular stretches of coastline in the world. A few kilometres west is located the Loch Ard Gorge. The gorge is V-shaped with a small entrance and a beach accessible to tourists. Still more to the east is Razor Wall, with a vast mixture of features created and daily chased by the power of the sea. The arch perches precariously mounted on a harder rock platform, proud of the water in small to medium swell. London Bridge, now called London Arch, since the bridge to land disappeared in a storm in 2009. The grotto is a sinkhole geological formation, waves crashing into the wall splashing mist over. A visit to the Otway National Park allows us to admire the Triplet Falls and Hopetown Falls. Northeast is the Bay of Fires, with granite rocks carpeted in red lichen. The name did not come from there, but from the fires made by the Aborigines to control the forests. Some kilometers south is the St. Columba Falls State Reserve. One of the highlights of the east coast is the Freycinet Peninsula. Here Honeymoon Bay, the Hazards Monoliths, and on the other side Wineglass Bay. The Tasman Peninsula is well known for its rugged eastern coastline. It has some of the most impressive coastal scenery in Australia. The Tasman Arch is what is left of the roof of a large sea cave. The tessellated pavement is an intertidal rock platform. The jointing, exaggerated by processes of erosion, has created the tiled appearance. South Bruny Island is protected as a national park. Most of the coastline consists of Jurassic dolerite that forms the dramatic cliffs and headlands. Mount Field is the second oldest of Australia's national parks. Enormous fern forests and some of the tallest trees in the world can be found in this area. Stanley is a peaceful fishing village of 450 inhabitants on the west coast, famous for its volcanic plug named the Nut. Going south into Dip River Forest there is a surprise. Dip Falls. The picture of Cradle Mountain emerging from Dove Lake has become the image of Tasmania itself. This has been a glimpse of what Tasmania has to offer. Our dream is to live an entire year there. Only way to explore it as it deserves. The Three Sisters is an unusual rock formation, who according to Aboriginal legend were three sisters turned into stone, hence the name. Canangra Boyd Lookout offers unparalleled views across one of Australia's most spectacular landscapes. A 1-hour walk brings us to Canangra Falls. The creek plunges 150 meters into Canangra Gorge, in a series of waterfalls and cascades. Located west of Blue Mountains are the Genalan Caves, the most ancient discovered open caves in the world, over 300 entrances following the course of a subterranean section of the Genalan River. It has more than 40 kilometers of multilevel passages and many marine fossils and calcite formations. The best caves in Australia. Going northeast we find Ellenborough Falls. A little bit up in Durigo is Christall Shower Falls, on the Waterfall Way. Up on the mountain is Danga Falls, spectacular from above and from the base. Going west the astounding Ebbea Falls, after the rains. In Mount Caputa are the Sawn Rocks, called Organ Piping Rocks. A fascinating reminder of Mount Caputa's volcanic past. Queensland's southeast is characterised by volcanic remnants from an era when Australia passed throughout a volcanic spot on the Pacific, some 20 million years back. Waterfalls are everywhere. The natural bridge is found on the western side of Springbrook National Park. The cave roof was eroded, and the falls go now into the cave. On the Springbrook Plateau, Twin Falls, a 45 minutes trek from the top. Purling Brook Falls, view from the lookout. Queen Mary Falls near Killarney, a 40-metre falls on the Spring Creek plunging over a basalt wall. The walking circuit takes us to the base of the fall to get these beautiful images. In Tambourine Mountain is located Curtis Falls, the only waterfalls here that can be viewed from the bottom. The 11 volcanic peaks of the Glasshouse Mountains, some 75 kilometres north of Brisbane. They were named after Captain James Cook in 1770, who is quoted as saying,
"They are remarkable for the singular form of their elevation, which very much resembles the shape of glass kilns in North England."
All the peaks have a reason to be, a meaning according to an Aboriginal legend. Towering white sandstone cliffs forming a spectacular steep-sided gorge. Lush side gorges. A boulder-strewn creek continuously winding through the gorge. The home of ancient plants, animals and above all, a wealth of cultural and natural heritage. This is Carnarvon Gorge, a natural monument to the power of water, wind and time. Located 600 kilometres northwest of Brisbane, the precipice sandstone layer was deposited under the sea 200 millions of years ago. After emerging from the sea, it was eroded by the creek during the last 27 million years. The water filters throughout the sandstone layer, taking 5 to 10,000 years to pass, feeding the creek. After short walks the first 2 days to warm the muscles for the 40 kilometres we had ahead, we began with first two big destinations, the Wards Canyon and the Art Gallery. Wards Canyon is home to the king fern, the largest in Australia. This impressive green dinosaurs have strong links with the ancient flora of Gondwanaland. The place is very cold and humid, reason for the ferns. There is evidence that it was used on ancient times as a fridge to keep the product of hunts. We leave behind the Wards Canyon to reach the main destination. After the next crossroads, we do left for our 6th creek crossing. Then again, we must go up and up and up. A final push, and we are almost there. Finally, after an exhausting, unbelievable trekking, we made it. Over 2,000 engravings, ochre stencil, and freehand paintings adorn this 62 meters long sandstone walls. Excavations in a cave revealed occupational evidence dating back 19,500 years. The next day we are again on track to explore the other two landmarks of the gorge. The Moss Garden and the Amphitheatre, a 12-kilometer round trip. A canyon with tall walls produces at its base this botanical marvel. Water drips constantly from the sandstone walls of the Moss Gardens, supporting a lush carpet of mosses, ferns and liverworts. Beneath, tree ferns straining for sunlight. We get back to the Moss Garden sign to go right on the main track to the amphitheatre. A 60 meters deep chamber gouged from the rock by running water. A place to let the imagination run wild. Sitting quietly in this amazing place, you can imagine being the first person to discover this geological marvel. Resounding acoustics add to the awe-inspiring atmosphere within its borders, a place to behold. Walking throughout time, that is what Carnarvon is all about. A piece of Gondwana forests preserved in the tropics, Daintree forests. Going north from Cairns we pass through beautiful beaches, barely used because all North Queensland is populated by saltwater crocodiles. Daintree is a vast area of tropical rainforest wilderness with an immense biological value due to its incredible biodiversity and high levels of endemism. Many of the plant and animal species that are found here are nowhere else on the planet. Daintree National Park houses the oldest rainforest on the planet, the closest living counterpart to the forests that once covered the ancient supercontinent of Gondwanaland. The Daintree River runs through the Daintree rainforest in the Cape Tribulation region. The river and its surroundings are home to some of the most primitive forms of animal and plant life in the world. The surrounding mountains and valleys provided protection from the natural forces to adapt to climate change by sheltering several species of plants. Due to the river's isolation, saltwater crocodiles have flourished in recent years, beneficiaries of legislation that protects them. Absolutely never swim in the river. Crossing the river by ferry, we head up to Cape Tribulation, Cape Trib for the locals, named by Captain Cook after his ship scraped a North Reef. Numerous crystal-clear creeks dropping from the mountain are a great attraction to tourists, no crocs in there. Boardwalks through the mangrove forests provide a world of discovery for the abundant life in the area, like this non-venomous green tree snake. Beaches are great, but there's always the likelihood of salties lurking around. It's their territory, probably a way nature has found to preserve these sites. For those who have been in tropical rainforests before, yes, this looks like one. In Australia, Atherton Tablelands is located southwest from Cairns. The fertility of the soils in the region can be attributed to the volcanic origins of the land. First stop at Ravens Hoe to admire two outstanding waterfalls. Millstream Falls is the widest waterfalls in Australia. Nearby is Little Millstream Falls, a complex net of cascades falling from the mountains. Then we go north to Mala, lots of water in Indigenous language. The iconic site is Mala Falls, resembling a postcard. Other falls of the famous Waterfall Way in Atherton, worth to visit are Zilla Falls, Ellinjar Falls, Mungalla Falls. A few kilometers north we spot a platypus searching food on the surface of a lake. Mareeba has the taste of the outback still being on the Atherton Tablelands. There is an endemic species of wallaby there, the Mareeba rock wallaby. On the north of Atherton Tablelands, there is so much bird life here that the area is a paradise for bird watchers. The orange-footed scrubfowl is continually feeding on seeds. a great bowerbird working on its bower. The Australian bustard, a bird over 1 metre tall. One sight not to miss when returning to Brisbane is Biedermann Falls, located 40 kilometres west of Ingham. Biedermann Falls is the highest, permanent, single-drop waterfall in Australia, near 270 metres.